everybody, and welcome to your favorite show each and every week. We're talking about TGFF Game Day, brought to you by Arden's Burger and Grill in Central South Carolina. Go by and see Donnie and Paul. They will take care of you. Every Wednesday is the wing deal. $10.99 gets you wings, fries, and a drink. We're going to go straight to Justin. Justice, tell us what happened last week. Everybody, and welcome to your favorite show each and every week. We're talking about TGFF Game Day, brought to you by Arden's Burger and Grill in Central South Carolina. Go by and see Donnie and Paul. They will take care of you. Every Wednesday is the wing deal. $10.99 gets you wings, fries, and a drink. And also, don't forget about those great burgers, the Powder Burger, the Carolina Caviar, which is, of course, pimento cheese, the Whiskey Burger, the Tiger Sunday, which is fries with pulled pork on it. And I hear there's rumblings of a so-called Wolfpack burger, but we're not going to talk about that tonight. We're going to go straight to Justin. Justice, tell us what happened last week.
Man, tons of things, Jay. Oklahoma was losing their quarterback. I think Illinois lost its mojo at some point along the way. Miami stayed undefeated, and a lot of other good stuff. But those were the highlights, Jay. We're excited, though, for another exciting week of football again this week. Tons of great games, tons of great conferences. Mark's back with us again. Yep. So we're going to talk a ton of SoCon. We're going to talk ACC. We're going to talk SEC. We're going to talk it all, Jay. So we're ready for another awesomely good show again for our fans this week. Really excited for another big slate of games this week. Really, really, really good ones. So we're going to start out, though, this week by talking about our friends from the SEC and our good friends at the Coach's Box. They're going to give us all there is to know about the SEC this week. So that segment for us this week is going to be sponsored by Pepsi as well. So let us know what's going on in the ACC coach or SEC Coach's Box.
Hello, everybody. This is Chris Miller from the Coach's Box Call Like We See It podcast, and this is our SEC preview for Thank God for Football Game Day. This SEC preview, hey, it's brought to you by Pepsi. I'm drinking one right now, but whenever you're gearing up for game day, hanging out with friends, or just need that perfect, refreshing break, nothing, and I mean nothing, hits the spot quite like an ice-cold Pepsi. It's bold, it's crisp, and it's always refreshing. Pepsi is the taste that fuels the moment. So crack open a Pepsi, just like I did, and make sure that you're there for games this Saturday. I'm telling you right now, we're gearing up for another really great matchup. Just a lot of great matchups in college football. The SEC we're slowly getting to that point, especially as we're getting into SEC play. A lot of the schools are starting to play each other. Some of them haven't even played conference games yet. Now, we currently have some teams that are playing, and there's some pretty decent games that are shaping up around the SEC that we're not even going to talk about. I do believe that when we see the SEC from our standpoint here in Missouri, I mean, we're really excited for Mizzou. Obviously, it's their homecoming this week. They're playing UMass. That's a win. Ahmad Hardy, Heisman hopeful, but nobody in the national media cares. Kentucky and South Carolina could actually turn out to be a pretty good game. It just depends on if both teams kind of show up to play. South Carolina needs to probably run the ball, but I digress. Notre Dame and Arkansas. I'm not sold on Notre Dame right now. I don't see how they're 1-2 and they're ranked. Arkansas is not great, but they have a lot to play for because if they lose a couple more games, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a coaching change. Other than that, not a lot of other great games except for the ones that we're going to go ahead and preview for you guys right now. So without further ado, our our first matchup out of the 3 that we picked this week, we have Auburn, who is unranked. They're 3-1 and 0-1 in the SEC. They're coming off a really tough loss in Oklahoma. The Oklahoma being the SEC newcomer, but they're going to number 9 A&M. A&M is undefeated. It's A&M's first SEC matchup of the year. A&M comes in at this point in time. They're 6.5-point favorites. Auburn's trying to prove that obviously last week's game, it was tough. Going into Norman is tough anyway. It doesn't even matter. But they're trying to prove they're not a pretender. It's going to be tough. Jackson Arnold got sacked 10 times last week, which was crazy. But at the same time, Auburn has a chance. I mean, if Auburn has a chance, if Jackson Arnold can bounce back. The only problem is A&M's pretty good. Marcel Reed is a dynamic player, especially in both facets, whether he's running or throwing the ball. So that's going to be an interesting game to pay attention to. I don't think Auburn can win, but they could make it close. And again, they've got a lot to play for to show that they're not a pretender. And they don't really want to fall to 0-2 in the SEC either. Our next matchup, I think, is probably a pretty good one. It usually is, but it's not the Nick Saban era. We have number 17 Alabama. They're at number 5 Georgia. Any other time in the history of the last 15 years, this game is one of the biggest ones. Georgia comes in right now. They're favored by 2.5 points. Alabama's 2-1. This is their first SEC game. Georgia's 3-0. They're 1-0 in the SEC. Always a big time game. Kirby Smart is one of the best coaches in the country. He's obviously one of the best recruiters, and Georgia is pretty good. Okay. So again, we're going to see what Georgia's all about this week. Gunnar Stockton had his best game of the season against Tennessee, threw for over 300 yards. Ty Simpson, he's got to show up after he had a rough start against Florida State. Obviously, in the only game they lost this year, had a good showing against Louisiana Monroe, who nobody cares about, and Wisconsin, who's not the same Wisconsin that they used to be. So Alabama is trying to show that they're trending up, and if they can steal a win in Georgia, it would be huge. This game is always close because of the two and their rivalry. I see Georgia's winning this game, but it's the SEC. You never know what could happen. And our final preview game, I do believe is the best one, is number 4 LSU at number 13 Ole Miss. It's crazy though. ESPN Bet has Ole Miss favored by 1.5. So that's going to be, it's one of those games you might just lose money here. LSU is 4-0, and overall they're 1-0 in the conference. Ole Miss is 4-0 and 2-0 in the conference. So both ranked teams, both undefeated. The only thing is, Ole Miss backup Trinidad Chambliss. I always butcher this. He's the guy who has to show up big for Ole Miss in place of the injured starter Austin Simmons. So will he be able to pull off a major upset at home? Again, both teams undefeated. How is this going to play out? LSU, they've been picked as possible national champ. I mean, this is big. This is college football playoffs implications. I'm going to say right now, if I had to pick, I'd probably go with Ole Miss, just because I'm not 100% sold on LSU. I could be wrong. LSU might throttle them, but I'm going to go ahead and have the sneaky pick for the upset right here. It should be a good game. Obviously, if the line is sitting there that close, and you're talking about the number 4 and the number 13 team in the country, I mean, this could be a good one. So again, some really good matchups. And as the year goes on and we get deeper into the season, I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to have some great SEC matchups, especially if some of the top teams get knocked off by some of the other teams here. And then all of a sudden, you just never know what's going to happen. It's SEC football. We really never do. It's hard to predict. So I know went on a little bit long here, but at the same time, great football to talk about. I'm Chris Miller from the Coach's Box Call Like We See It podcast. Tune in next week for another preview for Thank God for Football game day. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to see you guys, and I can't wait to watch these games. You all have a great one. We'll see you next week.
All right, thanks so much for our guys over at the Coaches Box. Also, we'd like to give a huge shout out to Pepsi as well for sponsoring their segment this week. Next up, Jay, we're going to be talking about our Sitting Pretty dog grooming underdog pick of the week, Jay. So our underdog Scoob has been doing his research this week. He's ready to give us his underdog pick of the week. So brought to you by Sitting Pretty Dog Grooming. For all your dog grooming needs, hit up Sitting Pretty Dog Grooming. So take it away, underdog. Let us know what you got going on this week.
Hello, everybody. This is the underdog with the Sitting Pretty Dog pick of the week. Give me Wake Forest over Georgia Tech and Illinois over USC. Oh, underdog pick of the week.
All right, Wolf Scoob, thanks for those picks of the week. Also brought to you by Sitting Pretty Dog Grooming. Thanks again for giving us your underdog picks of the week. Next up, we're going to have our Beef and Rib Southern Conference preview here with Jay. Jay, take it away. We're going to let you talk about our good stuff going on in the SoCon from last week and this week.
Just wanted to let everybody know next week we'll have Steve joining us, helping me out with the SoCon. And this week there's 4 games, and that's it in the SoCon. So I'm going to go through all 4 real quick. Of course, it's going to be Western Carolina going to Campbell. Of course, Campbell lost to Furman last week in a shootout. The Campbell quarterback is like I tell you what, he's wanting to be Michael Vick is what he's trying to be. And so I think Western Carolina's defense is going to have their hands full. But give me Campbell in this game over Western Carolina. The next game I have is Furman versus Samford, a game that I wish I could be at, but I won't be able to make it there. I tell you what, give me Furman over Samford. Samford has got 53 transfers in there, and they're not playing together. All right, the next game we have is Mercer going to East Tennessee State University. Give me East Tennessee State over Mercer in a game that's going to set up a matchup next week with East Tennessee State coming to Furman in a battle for first place. And then the final game is Citadel at UT Chattanooga. If you would ask me the first of the year, UT Chattanooga wins this game, but right now the Citadel has got more momentum on their side. UT Chat has been a team that looks kind of lost this year, so give me the Citadel over UT Chattanooga this year. Guys, I appreciate it. This has been brought to you by Beef and Rib in Westminster, South Carolina. Go by and see Angie and see Jill, and they will take care of you. Meat and 3. We did the Wrestling and Racing podcast there this past week. It was the best food you could ever taste. Fried green tomatoes. We're talking about mashed potatoes, green beans, you name it. They got it. Some of the best food you can put in your mouth. Go by, see Angie and them, and tell them that TGFF Game Day sent you, and they'll take 10% off your order.
Jay, I don't know what's making me more hungry, or the Beef and Rib or your Southern Conference preview. So we're excited about both of that this week. So make sure you guys stop by Beef and Rib. Absolutely. So, guys, thank you so much for that, Jay. We are going to hit up our next segment now.
All right, and there you heard it. That's my take on the SoCon. Now let's go to Justin, which is brought to you by Clemson Family Wish. Make sure you go to ClemsonFamilyWish.com, donate, and help us help kids and adults get their sports wishes. And they bring to us Justin with the ACC Games of the Week. And hopefully next week, Justin will have his new counterpart, Des, and she will be joining us. We're going to be getting bigger and better, folks. That's all we can tell you. Justin, take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Another fantastic week of really great games. More Jordan Hudson drama on the sidelines at North Carolina. Miami staying undefeated. NC State, once again, doing what NC State does, losing in Durham. And just a lot of other awesomely good stuff. Louisville stays undefeated, Jay. So we're going to hit up this week's games, though. We've got 3 that are on the slate. So 12 o'clock, we've got Duke and Syracuse. Duke's going to try to show that they are for real. They're heading to Syracuse. And Duke's 2-2, Syracuse 3-1. I'm going to take the Cuse, though, at home this week, Jay. And then next up, we are going to be talking a little bit later on another game in the ACC, but we're going to be talking Louisville-Pittsburgh now. Louisville is undefeated. They're going on the road at Pitt. Pitt's 2-1. I do still like Louisville this week. I think they are proving to me why I picked them second in my preseason ballot on the ACC. media day. So I'm still riding the Louisville train this week for that. And then last but not least, Jay, we're going to be talking Georgia Tech, Wake Forest. This one's going to be probably a muddy one, Jay. This one's going to be rainy all weekend in Winston. Georgia Tech's looking to continue to show why they are a contender in the ACC after beating Clemson. And Wake Forest is trying to show why they are still in the hunt too. I mean, they are still playing really well. They've had the loss at home to NC State, but other than that, they've played some pretty good football, Jay. So I'm still this is kind of a trap game for me. I had a tough time picking this one, honestly, because this one's in Winston. So I'm still going to take the Jackets, but only in a really close one, Jay. So that's going to be my 3 picks of the week for that. And then we're going to take a review again next week on that, Jay. So thanks so much for that.
All right, everybody. Of course, that segment was brought to you by Clemson Family Wish. Make sure you go by ClemsonFamilyWish.com and help us help others. All right. Well, folks, now we go and we bring in the man, the myth, the legend. We're talking about Mark Livingston with his Big Ten review, Mr. Penn State himself. Boy, I tell you what, Mark, it's going to be fun. You and Justin are going to have this week. There's actually some pretty good games when it comes to the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, right now, like I said, we do have some good ones. This segment is brought to you by Cowboy Revolution. Check out Jay's hat there. Go to cowboyrevolution.com. I do believe if you use our GSM that you do get 10% off your purchase. So please go ahead and check that out. As far as for the Big Ten, we're still wide open, but I think that right now we're gonna find out a little bit more about our top teams this week. Last weekend, we found out Illinois may not either Indiana's really, really good or Illinois is just not what everybody thought they were going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana putting up 63 points in a conference game.
Man.
That's unheard of. This week doesn't get any easier for Illinois, though. They do have USC. Southern Cal's playing really, really good football right now. Offensively, they are killing it right now. I don't think Illinois is going to be ready for that. Give me USC in that one.
I am taking the Trojans as well. I did an earlier podcast today. I'm just going to say fight on USC, and that's going to be for one of my friends who is a really good friend of the program, and she is a big-time Southern Cal fan. So I'm taking them this week, Mark. So give me them.
All right. Next one, we're basically going to go with Minnesota and Rutgers. Right now, like I said, Rutgers, I believe, is doing really, really good in the running game. I think that's really what's going to control it in that one. So I'm going to go ahead and take Rutgers. Probably going to be one of the closer games in the Big Ten. I'm going to give you Rutgers by 3 in that one.
I'm going to continue on with my theme of this segment, Mark. I'm going with, the theme of fight on. Give me the Scarlet Knights. I'm taking Rutgers this week, so give me them.
Now, the next one, like I said, we have 2 games that are really, really good ones. We'll be picking those later on, of course.
Yep.
Penn State and Oregon, that's I've got a vested interest in that one, of course. And, you got Ohio State and Washington, which is going to be a really, really good one as well. But what I'm going to do for this third game right now, I think it's going to be intriguing, though, because you got the really, really good offense. Fernando Mendoza of Indiana, quarterback right now, playing really, really good football. But you got Iowa at home, and that defense is always really, really stifling. Iowa's going to be looking to, run the ball, keep the offense off the field of Indiana, let their defense win the ball game as well. This one I had a tough one on it, but I always think the best defense is always going to win out, so I'm going to take Iowa on that one.
So I am going to take Iowa as well. I used to do a lot of work for business down in Iowa as well. So I'm going to take the Cornfield Kings and Queens of Iowa. So give me Iowa this week as well. Well, thanks so much, Mark. That was awesome. Thanks for giving us your 3 games of the week. We appreciate that as always. So make sure you check out cowboyrevolution.com to get all of your amazing gear. Jay's got that going on. And then next up, we are hitting up our good friends over at the Sideline Sports Network Army. They are going to be discussing our American Conference this week. And then, so that is going to be brought to you by TrueVictory.com, veteran owned, veteran run. Make sure that you check out TrueVictory.com. Use code FurmanJoust and get your 10% off for that. So let us know what's going down over there at Army and with the rest of your conference, Mr. Sideline Sports. So take it away.
What's up, party people? I'm Cuthbert from Sidelines Army. Thank God for football, the American Conference, so many great things happening in week 4, a lot to look forward to this week in week 5. Before we dive in, I just want to say thank you to our sponsor, TrueVictory.com. We're going old school. We're sticking with it from last week. Sharpie on paper. That's how we do. True Victory. This is a fantastic clothing brand. It was started by veterans and first responders. They've got athletic wear. They've got street wear. A little bit of everything. Very high quality clothing. Use our promo code FurmanJoust for 10% off at checkout. Really check out these clothes. Get yourself prepped for game day. So let's look back at week 4. As you recall, I had 3 games of the week last week, a lot of big happenings. Tulane went into Ole Miss, huge showdown between potentially a top American Conference school, the Tulane Green Wave, and number 13 ranked Ole Miss Rebels. Unfortunately, Ole Miss had their way with Tulane, 45-10. They completely controlled the game, start to finish. Tulane is good. They are a good team. I don't want to say that they're a paper tiger, but I did mention last week how much of their offense, their production, and their scoring goes through transfer quarterback Jake Retzlaff. And wouldn't you know who won the pony? He struggles. He goes 5 for 17, ends up having to get sat on the bench for second-string quarterback Brendan Sullivan. Unfortunately, Retzlaff did not complete a pass in the first half until his final throw of the half. The Rebels were effectively able to completely shut him down and thereby completely shut down the Green Wave offense. They have a very interesting matchup coming up this week against the Golden Hurricanes. We're going to get into that later, but definitely a heartbreak for Tulane, especially following those 2 big P4 wins over Northwestern and Duke earlier in the season. Game of the week 2 from last week, Memphis versus Arkansas, and Memphis showing that, in fact, while we do lose sometimes, like Tulane and Ole Miss, the American Conference is, in fact, the Giant Killers. We are the best G5 conference in the country. Memphis knocks off Arkansas 32-31. This was a really great game and very, very close. Late in the fourth quarter, Arkansas down by 1, marching inside the Arkansas 10-yard line. And unfortunately, running back Mike Washington Jr., he coughs the ball up. Memphis recovers. They're able to hold on. Ryan Silverfield, head coach of the Tigers, he is continuing to impress. They were predicted preseason to be a contender for the American Conference Championship. They look like they might be the team to beat. There's still a lot of games to play. Memphis has not yet started American Conference play, so obviously anything can happen. But at 4-0, at least in terms of their rankings, they are sitting in the driver's seat. And game of the week, number 3, the Mean Green traveled to Michie Stadium, and unfortunately, they bested my Black Knights 45-38 in overtime. This was an incredible game in terms of offense. The teams combined for almost 1,000 total yards of offense. Army effectively spotting the Mean Green 21 points following 3 turnovers in the first quarter and a half. All 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, and an interception, leading to touchdowns by that high-powered North Texas offense. Cale Helms, who had been the backup to start the season, he then started and impressed with that come from behind and upset victory over Kansas State. He really struggled. He was responsible for, I would say, 1.5 of the fumbles. Unfortunately, he also threw the interception. Dwayne Coleman, the original starter from Tarleton State from the start of the year, he had actually sat the Kansas State game because he was a little banged up. He comes in to replace him, and I'm telling you, firsty Dwayne Coleman absolutely shined. He did it on the ground. He did it in the air. Army comes all the way back. They hit a field goal with under 10 seconds to go in regulation to push it to overtime, but unfortunately, they just can't deliver. a heartbreak of a game for the Black Knights. But at 0-1 in conference play, there's still a lot of games to play. And last year, Tulane made the American Conference Championship with a conference loss. And the other two teams, Memphis and Navy, who were knocking on the doorstep of the American Conference Championship, they too all had one loss. So by no means is anything settled for Jeff Monken and the Black Knights. And then the surprise of the week, the American Conference, the Giant Killers, Trey Lamb and the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes go into Stillwater, and they beat Oklahoma State 19-12 on Friday night. Mike Gundy, former head coach of the Oklahoma State Cowboys, he's a man, he's 40, and he's out of a job. I don't want to celebrate anyone's misfortune, obviously. I actually quite like Mike Gundy as a coach, but it would appear losing to an in-state, presumably in-state peon like Tulsa was just the straw that broke the camel's back. Incredibly impressive that Trey Lamb was able to do that. Tulsa was, quite frankly, the doormat, one of the doormats last week. I lost my flag. Last year in the American Conference, he looks like he's getting that team turned around maybe in short order based on that upset. Other games around the American Conference, Rice beat Charlotte 28-17. Rice starts 3-1 for the first time since 2001. Head coach Scott Abel really doing great things for the Owls. Charlotte still struggling to find their way, still trying to get themselves kind of up and running in the American Conference. This is a team that's got a very dedicated fan base, and I'm sorry to see that they've been struggling like this. I'm hoping they can get things turned around sooner rather than later. UTSA absolutely survives a squeaker against Colorado State. Under 5 minutes to go in the game, UTSA is up 17-10. Colorado State scores, and on the ensuing PAT, UTSA jumps off sides. Following the penalty, Colorado State figures they'll take a gamble, go for two, incomplete pass, and UTSA is able to hang on. Now, the Roadrunners started 0-2, and they were quality losses, if such a thing can exist, to Texas A&M and Texas State. They are now 2-2, and it looks like they're starting to get their legs under them. But based on Week 4's performance, the legs are under them, but they're a little shaky. Jeff Traylor is going to need to tighten that up. This is another team that was predicted by some to be a dark horse contender for the American Conference Championship. As of now, I'm not seeing it. They are a good team. I don't want to say that they're garbage, but right now they are not looking like they are going to be waltzing their way into the American Conference Championship. Tennessee just beats the tar out of UAB 56-24. It was 42-7 at halftime. Trent Dilfer, not long for the Blazers' world. They're not going to let him go after this game. No one expected them to be able to do much against the vaunted Volunteers of Tennessee. Georgia Tech also slaps around Temple 45-24. I had predicted preseason Temple goes 2-0 and then 0-8. After going 2-0, Temple is now 0-2. They are much improved from last year, but their schedule is not forgiving, at least not for a team of their caliber. So we'll see if they can pull one out here in the coming weeks, but I'm not going to hold my breath. USF clowns South Carolina State 63-14. Byram Brown, he throws for 236 and 4 touchdowns. USF cruising into the bye week right now. This is an important win for them. I think they needed to get themselves back on track. I mean, this is obviously a little bit of an inferior competition, but they needed to go in there. They needed to win big. It's exactly what they did. I think this is what they needed as a team. And then BYU beats East Carolina 34-13. Now, this game should have been a little bit closer than it actually was. Caton Hauser, he did throw for 285 for the Pirates. Unfortunately, on successive drives, he threw a goal line interception, and then on the first play of the next drive, he threw a short field pick six. Those turnovers will kill you when they end potentially a scoring drive, and then obviously giving up a pick six is the last thing you want to do. So East Carolina, even without those mistakes, I don't know if they win this game, but I can tell you it would have been much, much closer. So diving into week 5, We don't have that many games this week, but we're really starting to get into American Conference play. And there are a couple of games that are going to be worth looking at, some very interesting storylines. First and foremost, my Army Black Knights going to Dowdy Ficklin, East Carolina, Thursday night. By the time you see this, the game will have already been played. Both teams coming off of short rest. Both teams with, unfortunately, some mistake-riddled games in week 4. Army, again, able to mount that big comeback. Unfortunately, from the looks of it, Army's defense has taken a step back from last year. Will Caton Hauser and the Pirate offense be able to take advantage of that? The other big question, who's going to be the starting quarterback? Is it going to be Cale Helms, who has a more Bryson Daly style of play, who was able to upset Kansas State? Is it going to be Dwayne Coleman, the firsty quarterback who's been in the system, who was the heir apparent, but has more of a Tyler run, scramble, more nimble as opposed to power style of play? Army is not a stranger to running quarterback by committee. The rule of thumb is if you have more than one quarterback, you have no quarterbacks. Army has shown that, in fact, their team ethos is able to overcome that in years past. In fact, in 2021, when you had Jabari Laws, Christian Anderson, and now I can't even remember, Tyler, I think, you had 3 quarterbacks who were rotating in all the time, and they were able to overcome that. So that's a little bit of an Army deep cut, but all I can tell you is with their scheme and their culture on the team, that might not be the worst thing. Army 0-1 in American Conference play. This is East Carolina's first American Conference game. Dowdy Ficklin is going to be bouncing. It's going to be a huge game Thursday night, nationally televised on ESPN. Rice is going into Navy. Now, Rice, as I said before, it's the first time that they're 3-1 in 24 years. Navy, of course, predicted preseason to be a powerhouse, seemed to be a powerhouse. Navy is coming off of a bye. They are playing at home. This is to their advantage. But Rice actually surprised Navy last year in 2024 and handed them a very, very unexpected loss. Now, it was an ugly game. It had multiple rain delays last year. That played to Rice's advantage. But if Scott Abel can go into Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, if he can get a win out of this, it would completely upend some of the storylines and expectations for the American Conference this year. This is going to be a game worth watching. Memphis travels to Ratmouth. They're going to take on Florida Atlantic in Boca Raton. Memphis riding high off that win over SEC Arkansas. Silverfield, he's really been able to dial the Tigers in. Florida Atlantic, they were not expected to do much this year, but they were expected to have something of a high-powered offense. As of yet, we have only seen it against FCS Campbell. So they're coming off a bye. They're going to be rested up, a little more time to prepare, but I think Memphis is going to roll in this one. Now, another game that's going to be worth watching, much like Rice going to Navy, Tulane is going to Tulsa. Now, Tulane, very good team, predicted by many to either be the AC champion or at least appear in the conference championship game. Again, not a paper tiger, but so much of what they do relies on Jake Retzlaff. And Tulsa, coming off that incredible upset victory over Oklahoma State, you know that they're going to be popping their jerseys. They are going to be feeling themselves. And this could be a very interesting game. If Trey Lamb can take out Sumrall and the Green Wave in Tulsa, once again, the AC is wide open, baby. So another game to look at. And the last game of the week, South Alabama travels to Denton to take on North Texas. North Texas, I will say they have a much improved defense from 2024. Skylar Cassidy came in as the new defensive coordinator. In spite of Army's ability to put up 38 points last week, they are a turnover machine. They took 3 from Army in week 4. They took 5 in week 3. They are ball hungry, and their defense is grabbing it. Meanwhile, on offense, Drew Mestamaker, the unknown redshirt walk-on, he is a very, very good quarterback. Watching last week against Army, I'm not sure he made a single unforced error. And also North Texas, able to replace DT Sheffield from 2024 and his offensive production with an incredible 1-2 punch of Mackenzie McGill and Caleb Hawkins at running back. I think that the Mean Green roll over the South Alabama Jaguars. That's it for me. Thank God for football. Go Army. Beat East Carolina.
All right, folks. And of course, that was the SSN Army bringing us our AAC Picks of the Week, brought to you by True Victory. Now, let's get to our Picks of the Week. And we're talking about brought to you by Cheerwine. That's right. I go to Sam's and get the big case of Cheerwine, baby. When I go somewhere, I gotta have my Cheerwine. Nothing better than a nice cold Cheerwine. And make sure you use hashtag Cheerwine Summer, even though it's getting towards the fall. Make sure you get your Cheerwine Summer hashtag in everything you do. Cheerwine, the official drink of GSM along with Pepsi. All right, folks, let's get it started. Justin, where are we at and where are we going with this first?
Jay, we are going to stick with our boys in Winston-Salem starting it out this week. So we are going Georgia Tech and Wake Forest. So is the Ramblin' Wreck for real, or is the Wake Forest pain train, the Claiborne train, is it ready to keep on running? So, Mark, I'm going to let you kick us off with this one. Who are you taking this week?
Man, I like this new look Georgia Tech, man. Like I said, for so long we didn't see them in the triple option. I like to see them opening up. Wake Forest, good defense, but I think GT is for real. So I'm going to go with Georgia Tech on that one.
I like it. Jay, who are you taking now that it's still hot, by the way, for anybody who's wanting to understand. It's still summer down here in the South, so we still drink a Cheerwine. So make sure you crack the cold one over here. So, Jay, who are you taking in this one? Yeah.
I got a nice cold one right here, Justin.
We ready.
All
so
right.
Give us your
tomorrow. We're talking about thunderstorms. We're talking about some major weather in the South. And because of that, this game is going to probably be delayed till, who knows, it might not even be played tomorrow based on the weather report. But because it's being played at Wake Forest and they can go back and get in the massage room, they can relax a little bit more, whereas Georgia Tech has to sit in a visitor locker room and wait 5, 6, 7 hours to get into a game and then get their butts kicked. That's right, get their butts kicked. Give me Claiborne and Wake Forest in this game because it's weather delay, baby, and that's all in Wake's great graces.
I love it. So Wake Forest is going all black this week with the Wake script on the helmet. Absolutely love it. Uniforms are fire this week. And obviously we have a nice little relationship going on with our friends over at Wake Forest. But even without that, Jay, I was taking the Demon Deacons this week as well. So give me the upset in Winston-Salem. I think the Claiborne pain train is running through Georgia Tech and the wreck falls off the track this week. So give me the Demon Deacons. I'm going to see if we can stay 1-0. So next up, Jay, we're going to hit up your land. So I'm going to kick this one off for you. We're going to go Furman and Samford, not Sanford and Son or any other version. It's Samford. So Jay, give us your takes on that one this week.
As I said in the SoCon picks of the week, this is a game that Furman needs to win if they're going to have any aspirations to be the SoCon champions this year. Sanford has so many new pieces and they're just not gelling. They haven't gelled all year. And because of that, I think we see Trey Hayden have a big game. I'm talking over 280 yards passing. I'm talking 3 touchdowns. This is a 34-17 ball game. Furman over Sanford.
I like it, Mark. Who are you taking in this one?
Truthfully, Jay, the fact that you got even that close, 34-17, I think is ridiculous. Like you said, Sanford hasn't been able to have it together all season so far. Furman right now is got a lot to play for. They're gonna come. They're gonna bring it. Like I said, I don't even think it's as close as what you said. Give me Furman 41. Give me the 10.
Yeah, I'm going to go Trey for Trey on this one. Trey for 3 touchdowns, and we're going across the board 3 for 3. I'm taking Furman in this one. Give me Trey for 3 touchdowns. Give me Furman by 3 touchdowns as well. We're going to stay with the theme. I'm going to go 38-17 Furman in this one. So next up, Jay, we're going to be talking about a game tomorrow night. actually should be really intriguing. I guess it'll be actually one of the bigger games in the ACC. We're going Florida State, Virginia. So who's going Cavs or Knowles? So Jay, I'm gonna let you start it out.
Well, if this was being played in Doak Stadium, I would say FSU by probably 21 points. But it's being played in Virginia. Virginia, I think, is going to play a closer game, but I still think Florida State will get the win, but I think it won't be by 21 points. It'd probably be by 7 to 10 points.
I like it, Mark. Who are you going to take in this one?
Yeah, I mean, really and truly, like I said, Virginia's kind of like one of the underdog stories this year. Tony Elliott's got his guys really playing good football. So I really went back and forth on this one because, like I said, Virginia is playing good. Florida State's having success, and not anybody. I don't even think they even thought they was going to really have. But I'm going to pick Florida State in this one, but a very, very close one.
I like that take, Mark. I mean, realistically, both of these teams are really good football teams. We got to see UVA up close and personal against NC State, and their offense is really good. They have a ton of weapons that they can go to. I think this is going to be a really tough road game for anybody really in the conference this year, but I'm going to stick with my pick. I picked Florida State to finish third in the conference in my ACC ballot. I'm going to take the Noles on the road. I think they are for real this year, but I think this one's going to be high scoring. I really do. Both offenses can score the football. So, but I think Florida State's going to get done by a touchdown this week in Charlottesville. So good stuff so far, so good. So the next one, I had my take a little bit earlier on this one. This one's a big game in the SEC. So we're going to go Bama, Georgia. Do the Dogs continue to roll, or is the Tide going to continue to get an upset this week? Jay, I'm going to let you start.
Well, I looked at this game. I've been looking at the injury reports. I've been looking at a lot of different things for this particular game. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be a 3 overtime game. I think it's going to be crazy. And when it's all said and done, Georgia gets the win over Alabama in the third overtime.
I like it. Mark, who are you taking this week?
Well, the only team to really give Georgia and Kirby Smart any real trouble is Alabama. Kirby's always struggled with those guys. However, that was Nick Saban. I like Gunnar Stockton. I like Georgia. I think Georgia's flying under the radar. I don't think it's going to be 3 overtimes. I think it might be a 3-score win, actually, by Georgia on this one.
So, boys, I'm gonna try to buck the trend a little bit here. I got a little bit of inside information from a good friend of the program, and he advised me this week, Jay, that the spread in this one was 3.5 in favor of the Dogs. But he also said the total number of guys in the drunk tank for Georgia is going to be over 3.5 this week. And I'm taking Alabama. Roll Tide. I'm taking them. Give me that win for Bama. Huge win for the Tide this week. I'm taking them. Next up, we're hitting up Ohio State and Washington. We're going to the northeast part of the country for some more Big Ten. So, Mark, take us away. Tell us what you got for Ohio State, Washington this week.
All right. So, actually, for this one, actually, the funny thing is you're actually going to the northwest for this one. It's being played at Washington. Julian Satan, his first road test. This is going to be a tough one. Washington is playing good football. Offense is really, really good. I like Ohio State's defense. Caleb Downs, I think first round pick easily for Ohio State, and I think their defense is really what's going to make the difference. Because I think the young quarterback is going to struggle in the beginning, so I think the defense is going to have to pick them up. So I'm going to go with Ohio State, as much as it pains me to ever say that nonsense. But I'm going to go with Ohio State on that one.
I like it. Jay, who you got in this one?
Not so fast, Mark. That's right. We're coming to Washington. That's right. Ohio State's got to go to Washington, not Washington to Ohio State. So you got a whole different kind of fan base, and this is the biggest game they've got and could be their Super Bowl. And trust me, these guys are going to be ready for it. Give me the Huskies over Ohio State in an upset, only because of the way Washington has played this year. They are unbeaten. Get ready. Give me the Huskies.
I like it. So shout out to our newest correspondent as well, Owen. He is helping us out with Ohio State. And I'm going to be honest with you two boys. He helped me out with this one too. I like Jeremiah Smith. I like Caleb Downs. Give me the Buckeyes all the road. They were one of my favorites to win the Super Bowl. Give me Ohio State this week. Welcome to the team, Owen. Giving you a shout out this week. So, and then last but not least, fellas, we're going to get to our game of the week. I know Mark's definitely got an amazing pick for this one. I know exactly who he's taking, but Jay, I'm going to let you take this one to start with. We're going to go with Oregon and Penn State this week in the Big Ten thriller.
You know, this is the hardest game I've got to pick this week. I know you thought when I said 3 overtimes, Georgia, Alabama, that I knew it was going to be Georgia winning. I just didn't know how they would win, and that's why I predicted it's going to be several overtimes. But this game was the hardest one. Both of these teams are playing pretty good. Not great, pretty good. I do believe when it comes to Jimmy's and Joe's that Oregon matches up with Penn State. When it comes to offense, Oregon right now is playing better than Penn State. When it comes to defense is playing better at Penn State than Oregon. For that reason, give me Oregon upsetting at the whiteout over Penn State.
Nice. So I'm gonna let Mark take this one last. I know he's got a nice take on this one, so I'm gonna let him take this one last. I'm just gonna say 2 words, and it's probably gonna really hurt a certain fan base that's on here. Those 2 words are James Franklin, and his record in big games is awful. So, no offense, Penn State. I'm taking the Ducks. They're winning in the whiteout. Sorry, Mark. Who you got this one?
Not so fast for both of you guys.
I knew that was coming.
James Franklin, I'm going to give you that one. If you read one of my articles earlier in the football season, I talked about who was on the bigger hot seat, Brian Kelly or James Franklin. So I'm going to give you that one. However, James Franklin ain't on the field. James Franklin. We also have a new defensive coordinator. We brought over Knowles over from Ohio State. He's got those guys playing really, really good. Jay, you want to say our offense hasn't played really well, but we're averaging 41 points a game. Y'all
Against who?
I don't care. 41 points, 41 points. Look at who Oregon's played. They played Oregon State's their best team. They haven't won a game yet, so we're not even going to go there. Y'all confuse offense with Drew Allar. Everybody thinks because Drew is not playing very well that the offense is not. We also have 2 great running backs, Nick Singleton and Keatron Allen, who are running really, really good, running the ball really good. Drew's going to play a lights out game. Like I said, he's kind of sleepwalking through the first 3 games. I mean, when your best team plays in Florida International, so we're going to say Drew's going to be up for this game. It is whiteout week. If you've never been to Happy Valley during whiteout week, you really should go. It is really like no other. Right now, our defense, like I said, lights out. Noel says this guy's playing really, really good. I don't think Dante Moore is going to know what hit him when he sets foot into this. Like I said, whiteout week in Happy Valley. Give me Penn State all day long, my friend.
I like it. I love it. So those are going to be our picks of the week, Jay. I know you are over there cracking cold ones. We love the cracked cold ones over here for Cheer One. And Jay, I'm going to be honest. Speaking of cracking a cold one, I think somebody's cracking a cold one somewhere.
Oh, please tell me no.
Carolina. Somewhere Uncle Bobby is doing his thing as he always does. So, Uncle Bobby, please go ahead and find yourself.
He's picked 2 games this week. I've already got word. So you don't want to know his picks. Mark definitely don't want to know his picks. So I all I can tell you is what I was told is he was smoking some really good stuff. That's all I can tell you.
Well, I mean, 2 words we mentioned earlier in the show, Jay, were James Franklin, but this one might be drunk tank for our 2 words from Uncle Bobby.
Hey, folks, Uncle Bobby was in Winston-Salem, which is known for its tobacco. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, Uncle Bobby, we're looking forward to your picks this week. Take it away. Let us know who your picks are for these 2 games. We love it.
Well, everybody, it's your old pal Uncle Bobby with my picks of the week. Give me an upset Washington over Ohio State. That's right. Give me them Huskies beating up on them Buckeyes. And then in my next big upset, give me Mississippi over LSU. That's right. Ole Miss over LSU. And I'm going to take Washington over Ohio State to really take off in the Big Ten. There you go, Uncle Bobby, brought to you by Port RV at Lake Hartwell, my favorite place to go. Uncle Bobby, he practically lives out there, 'cause I can go fishing, I can play basketball, I can go swimming and look at the beautiful women, that's right. Uncle Bobby loves him some Port RV at Lake Hartwell. Thank you, and back to Justin and Jay. Oh, Lord.
Jay, that was Uncle Bobby. You did say he was in Winston-Salem, where they're known for their tobacco. I think he might have been on the wacky tobacco on those ones.
Yes.
This segment was brought to you by Point RV. If you are at Point RV, please look for Uncle Bobby, because I'm sure he's somewhere wobbling around looking for whatever he is, man, with those pigs. Yeah. So y'all take it away.
I love it. Thanks so much, Mark. This has been a fantastic show. If you guys do not get entertained, then we did not do our job this week. I always go back to the movie quote, are you not entertained? So you guys got to be entertained this week. We had a lot of fun with the show. Tons of sponsors, tons of great things going on at Greenville Sports Media. Make sure you guys check us out. If you guys want to get your game day in, make sure that you check us out. So,
and also one quick thing, Justin, before we go, next week, we're going to have the Big 12 representative. That's right. We got some Big 12 people coming in. So we're going to be able to hit every part of the country. So the Big 12 will be starting next week with us. Also, we hope to have Dez, our new ACC representative, and also Stephen with us for the SoCon. So lots of great things, a lot more people joining us. We're hoping to grab Conference USA, and make sure you go to greenvillesportsmedia.com each and every week on Friday at noon, and TGFF Game Day will be up on there each and every Friday at noon. And that way you get your picks before everybody watches the other guys, because you know what? The other guys don't have this kind of entertainment. That's right. Even if we are whiting out.
I'm going to tell you this. The other show may have Peter, but nobody has it better than Uncle Bobby. I'm going to tell you that. So come get your games. Come get your previews. Come get everything. We're growing like a weed, and we're going to grow and make sure that we're not growing weed for Bobby. So we're going to stay away from that.
We'll share that with Mark.
Yeah. Mark might need some after this weekend. You never know.
Yeah.
All right, I'll remember that for next weekend. Whenever we come back to the show. Don't worry. I'll make sure to bookmark this one right here. In fact, I might just play the highlight of the show again for where y'all tried to solve this.
I'm gonna say we've had fun. I just want to give another huge shout out to all of our sponsors: True Victory, Clemson Family Wish, Sitting Pretty Dog Grooming, Point RV. I mean, the list just goes on and on. The list is probably going to keep growing.
Yep.
So if you guys want to be a part of something that's growing really quickly, make sure you check us out on greenvillesportsmedia.com. Make sure you check out all of our sports articles. We have great content. We will get you covered for all the games coming up week before and week after. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. Have a great, fantastic week of college football. Again, let's go have some fun and enjoy the weekend that's going to be coming up. All right, y'all take care. Have fun.
TGFF, back up for football game day. TGFF, back up for football game day. TGFF, back up for football game day. tuned in to another episode of Thank God for Football, brought to you by the Fanboys, powered by Greenville Sports Media.